What is up guys, it's your boy Soul here, back with another classic WoW video, specifically related to the upcoming hardcore servers. Don't get me wrong though, this video really can be useful for any version of classic WoW, as we are going to be covering the best gold farms to do while leveling. For the purpose of this, I will be basing this video off having the ability to trade and use the auction house, as that is the rules we are playing by on the official hardcore servers, so many of these farms will be based on farming materials you can sell to other people. The thing is, while leveling in certain level brackets you can level just as fast as questing, by grinding mobs, and by grinding mobs in the right location you can make a lot of gold at the same time. This can definitely help you get 100 gold by level 40 to afford that mount, and it can also significantly help you towards 1000 gold by level 16 in order to afford that epic mount as well. It is worth noting that I have made a complete gold making guide for classic WoW, which includes more than 15 different gold farms, many of which you can do while leveling, so if you're looking for more farming examples than the ones given in this video, you can check out that guide for a whole lot more farms. That guide also covers investments, so you can use the gold you're farming to make even more gold later down the line, and that's how I personally went from 1000 gold to 20,000 gold in 2 months in Season of Mastery, so by using those investment strategies you can get rich incredibly easily. Purchasing that gold making guide is an incredible way to support me as a content creator, as well as get yourself a great product at the same time, as long as you're into gold making, which I am kind of assuming you are, in some way, shape or form, considering you decided to click on a gold farming video. The link to that guide is down below in the video description and the pinned comment. Now let's get into the farms, and I'll try to do this in a somewhat categorical manner, where we start with the lowest level farm and end with the highest level farm. So you actually start getting some decent farms already in the level 20 bracket, like for example these fire elementals in Stone Talon Mountains. These elementals can drop elemental fire, and it is used for endgame potions, specifically related to fire protection, which is useful inside Molten Core and the Blackwing layer, the first raids in classic WoW, and will be on incredibly high demand for hardcore. You also have the Crimson Whelps in our wetlands, which can drop 2 very lucrative items, small flame sacks and the tiny Crimson Whelpling. Small flame sacks are also used in fire protection potions, the regular one, and in Season of Mastery I was able to sell some of these for up to 7 gold per piece, showing there's an obvious demand for these when raids become available and people start raiding, and I suspect that on hardcore servers these will be even more lucrative, as people will be spamming those protection potions for survival. 7 gold per item in a mid-level 20 zone is pretty insane. These mobs are level 25 to 26, so you can pretty much start grinding here from level 24 to level 30 and make insane amounts of gold. Now, all the way from early level 20 to mid-level 30, you also have several farms available for large venom sacks. These might not be incredibly profitable at the start of the hardcore series, but they are used in crafting, for example, strong anti-venom through first aid, as well as elixir of poison resistance, which is actually very useful in many situations, especially later in the game, such as in Ankh-Raj for example, and depending on when people actually start doing Ankh-Raj and do those difficult bosses, these could be in pretty high demand pretty quickly, so it's definitely a gold farm worth knowing about in this level bracket. You also have this island right here in Stranglethorn Vale, which is a very good island for farming both gold and experience at the same time, because there are a lot of water elementals here, they spawn pretty quickly, and you're in a location where a lot of people choose not to go, as there's only really one quest to do here, which in some cases is not even worth doing because of travel time. Elemental water is used in crafting greater frost protection potions, which will be useful later down the line, and this specific farm is suitable for mid-level 30s like 35 or 36 and onwards, and is a pretty solid farm overall. As we are now moving into the high level 30s, you also have an absolutely incredible farm for elemental fire. Located in Arathi Highland, suitable for the high level 30s, elemental fire is once again used in crafting greater fire protection potions, which will be in high demand. This is also where you start to have the earth elementals in Badlands, which can be farmed for elemental earth. Over here you have 3 different types of earth elementals ranging from level 35-ish to level 43. All of these earth elementals are also tied to quests, so there will be some competition, but it's still highly profitable and very good farms. Once again, elemental earth is used in Grey Toon nature protection potions and restorative potions, for example, and the Badlands generally has a lot of locations where you can farm different mobs for different reasons. Personally, I like to farm beasts here as long as I have skinning, and I just really like Badlands as a zone overall. You also have small flame sacks, which in this level bracket can be combined with dark whelplings and emerald whelplings farming, which can be done in the locations shown right here. For dark whelps, I personally usually farm in Badlands, but you can also do it in Dustwallow Marsh, and for emerald whelplings, you can do that in the Swamp of Sorrows. Once again, your main gold income source from these farms will be the small flame sacks, and the whelplings are just extra like a bonus. Small flame sacks can be an incredibly good item to farm for while leveling, and I personally like that you almost always have a farm for it available. For example, the farm we referenced earlier in Wetlands is available in the early level 20s, and then you have this one for mid and high level 30s and Swamp of Sorrows for low level 40s. And now it's time to talk about a surprisingly good farm that I have found while leveling on Classic Era Hardcore in the past. Waste Wanderers in Tarnaris, not the pirates, but the bandits. These guys are actually quite good to farm. They drop a steady amount of raw silver, they can drop journeyman's backpacks, they drop mageweave cloth, and they can drop potions. They also drop Waste Wander water pouches, and you can hand in 5 of these through a repeatable quest, which gives you a small amount of experience plus a goodie bag giving you food, drinks, and more potions. All of this combined means you will get a hefty amount of healing potions and mana potions from these guys, which might actually sell for a decent amount on hardcore servers where people want to have potions ready just in case. Now, one of the reasons why I found this farm was because of the Naga Cave in Ferales is always heavily contested, and you want to have a place to grind mobs from level 44 to 47, and for that purpose this farm is perfect, especially because once again you can hand in those water pouches for additional experience and gold, and the bandits also spawn pretty quickly, so even if there are other people around, there should always be some bandits available for you to kill. So, 50 to 60. First off, you have the Furbolgs in Fellwood and Winterspring. These you can effectively farm all the way from 48 to 60 if you want to, as one of the locations offers mobs at level 48, another one level 53, and Winterspring level 55 and upwards. An added benefit is that the Furbolgs in Winterspring and Fellwood, they can drop Deadwood Feathers and also something else, like the Furbolgs in Fellwood can drop Deadwood Feathers, which can be handed in for even more experience, as well as Timbermaw Hold reputation. The Winterspring Furbolgs have a similar item called Spirit Beads, which can also be handed in for additional experience, as well as once again reputation. On top of that, the Furbolgs in Winterspring can drop Echoes as long as you do the pre-quest for Echoes first, giving you even more gold, plus they can drop Winterfall Firewater. All of these Furbolgs can also drop Journeyman's backpacks or Traveler's backpacks, aka 14 slot and 16 slot bags, plus they do drop a lot of potions. They are also incredibly easy to kill, just watch out for the Den Watchers, which will let out a cry at half health calling for backup, so just pull them away from other mobs and it's incredibly safe and easy. You also have the Fellowcloth farms or the Satyr farms in Ashara. These can be incredibly profitable, especially if you have tailoring and can turn that Fellowcloth into Mooncloth, but even by themselves, these locations are pretty good for gold farming, and I grinded quite a few levels here back in the launch of Classic WoW in 2019. It is worth noting that some demons have annoying casts, so just mind which type of demon you're fighting and keep in mind that you are in Ashara, which can be a somewhat scary zone. By going in between all 3 locations, you can also find chest spawns to increase your gold per hour, but that strategy will depend on if you have all locations to yourself or not, but overall this is a very good farming location, both for experience and for gold. So there we go, a couple of locations you can utilize to farm for gold and experience at the same time while leveling in Classic WoW. Hopefully this video helps you make some gold on the upcoming hardcore servers, and I do intend to use quite a few of these locations myself, so if you ever see me at one of these locations in game, please go away. That was a joke, by the way. If you enjoyed the video and found it useful, please consider giving it a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel, as it really helps me out. As always, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you again very soon.